Today we're going to talk about two kinds of consciousness, two mental states. One is our everyday way of relating to the world, and the other is what we call mindfulness. And we're going to look at what happens when we bring either one or the other to the state of, to the experience of eating. Ordinarily, the mind is very scattered. Our everyday mind is very scattered. It moves from a sound that comes from the right to an image that comes from the left, and certainly our internal way of thinking is forever changing. We think about the past, the future, we worry. We're very involved with what goes on inside us. So the mind is forever moving. And that's not a very good state to bring to the experience of eating, particularly eating something delicious like chocolate cake. What happens is that most of us don't hang out long enough when we're eating chocolate cake. We take a bite, we enjoy the moment of pleasure, and then before you know it, we're into talking to someone else at the table, or again thinking about what we're doing tomorrow or what we've done yesterday. So the rest of the serving after the first bite generally goes unnoticed. We're on automatic. Now that doesn't stop us from eating. We can continue to eat and not even know how overstuffed we might be. Now what we call the scatter of the mind, it can also be called scanning. Our minds are scanning instruments. They're very important. They help us to notice danger. They're very much what has helped our species stay alive over these many eons. But again, it's not very helpful when eating chocolate cake. The everyday mind is also a discriminating, evaluating, judging instrument. Again, very helpful when you want to know the difference between eating regular edible mushrooms and poisonous mushrooms. Very important. So the scanning mind, the judging mind, is who we are, our everyday mind. It's just that it doesn't do well when we're looking for the kind of pleasure that chocolate cake can bring to us. I'm sure you may have had the experience or heard people talk about starting to eat chocolate cake and starting to think, oh my gosh, what am I doing? It's very rich. It's not good for me. And then the beginning sense of blaming yourself for doing it. And so what happens is that we move into that kind of spin. And again, what happens is that the rest of the serving goes unnoticed. We're on automatic. In contrast, mindfulness is designed for in-depth experiences of pleasure. It actually changes the way we eat chocolate cake. Soaking into each morsel of food, we get to see it, to feel it, to know the texture of it, know the aroma of it. We are precise and very, very clear about what the experience is. And mindfulness doesn't count calories. It isn't interested in judging. It isn't interested in right and wrong. Instead, it's absorbed in every flicker of taste, every flicker of flavor. And then something very unique happens when you're in that state. We eat less and feel more filled up. There's an old story about mindfulness. It likens it to throwing a stone at a wet mud wall. Throwing the stone needs energy. You need to take aim. And if both happen, it's likely that the stone is going to stick to the mud wall. Same with the mind. It takes energy to be mindful. It takes a focus on one object. And if you do that, it's likely that your attention will be fixated on the particular object of meditation. Perhaps chocolate cake. That steadiness and stillness gives the mind the opportunity to collect information. It's slowed down so it can know more about the taste, the aroma, the look, the beauty. You can also bring mindfulness to your stomach. You can watch if the stomach is empty, if it's full and satisfied, or if it's getting too stuffed. That's very helpful because it's unlikely that you're going to want to eat more when you feel satisfied. As Joseph Campbell said, it's not so much the meaning of life that we care about. It's the experience of being alive. It isn't how much chocolate we eat or don't eat. It's the experience of being alive to the chocolate. That's another kind of being filled up.